Have you ever looked at your dog and thought, they seem fine, but something about them feels just a little off? Maybe they yawned even though they had already been awake for a while. Maybe their tongue quickly touched their lips, but there was no food around. Maybe they turned their head away right as you reached down to pet them. And because they were not barking, not growling, not trembling, not hiding under the bed, you told yourself the same thing most dog owners tell themselves. They're okay. But this is where a lot of us miss it. Stress in a dog does not always look loud. It does not always look obvious. Sometimes it looks quiet. Sometimes it looks polite. Sometimes it looks like your dog is doing everything they can to stay calm, even though something inside them is not calm at all. And once you start noticing these silent signs, you may realize your dog has been talking to you for a long time, just not in a way most people were taught to hear. Full script. Have you ever looked at your dog and thought, they seem fine, but still something about them feels different? Maybe they yawned even though they were not tired. Maybe they licked their lips when there was no treat, no food bowl, no snack in your hand. Maybe they turned their head away when someone leaned in a little too close. And because they were not barking, growling, shaking, or running away, you assume nothing was wrong. Most of us do that. We look for the big signs, the obvious signs, the trembling, the whining, the hiding. The sudden snap, the moment when the dog finally makes it impossible to ignore. But dogs usually start speaking long before that. They speak in small things: a blink, a pause, a head turned slightly to the side, a body that suddenly goes still, a treat they normally love left untouched. And when you begin to notice those quiet signs, before they become louder, something changes. You do not just become better at reading your dog. You become easier for your dog to trust. So let's talk about 10 silent signs your dog may be stressed, even when they look completely fine. The first sign is yawning when they are not tired. Of course dogs yawn when they are sleepy. They yawn after a nap. They yawn before settling down at night. They yawn the same way we do in ordinary harmless moments. But then there is another kind of yawn, the kind that appears when the room feels tense, when a stranger reaches down too quickly, when training has gone on a little too long, when your dog is at the vet on the exam table trying to stay still, or when someone leans over them with good intentions but too much pressure. That yawn may not be about sleep at all. In many cases, yawning can be a way for a dog to release tension, a small reset, a little attempt to calm the body when the moment feels heavier than it looks. They are not being dramatic. They are not being difficult. Their body may simply be saying, this is a lot for me right now. And that is easy to miss because a yawn looks so harmless, so normal, so easy to brush away. But sometimes, the first sign that your dog is stressed is not a bark. It is a yawn that comes at the wrong time. Stress does not always shout. Sometimes it opens its mouth quietly and hopes you notice. The second sign is lip licking when there is no food nearby. Most owners notice lip licking when it makes sense. When you open the treat bag, when dinner is being prepared, when your dog smells something good from the kitchen and suddenly becomes very interested in your life. But if your dog quickly flicks their tongue over their lips in a situation that has nothing to do with food, it may mean something else. Maybe you are asking them to do something they do not quite understand. Maybe a guest is reaching toward their face. Maybe another dog is too close. Maybe the room is loud, your voice is tense, or the energy around them feels confusing. That little tongue flick can happen so fast you barely catch it. 1 second and it is gone. But to your dog, it may be part of how they handle discomfort. Not always fear, not always panic, not always something serious, but often it can be a small sign that their body is trying to manage pressure. And this is where it becomes more meaningful. If you notice the tiny signs, your dog may not have to move to the bigger ones. They may not have to pull away harder, growl, hide, freeze, or panic. Sometimes listening early is the difference between a dog feeling understood and a dog feeling ignored. The third sign is turning their head away. This one gets misunderstood all the time. Your dog turns their head to the side, and it is easy to think, they're ignoring me. They're being stubborn. They know what I want. They just don't want to listen. But in dog body language, turning away can be a very peaceful signal. Your dog may be trying to avoid conflict. They may be asking for more space. They may be saying in the quietest way they know how, can we not make this bigger? You may see it when someone hugs them too tightly, when a person stares directly into their eyes, when a hand keeps petting them after they are done, when someone bends over them smiling, not realizing that from the dog's point of view, It feels too close. And here's the part that can change the way you see it. A dog turning away is not always rejecting you. Sometimes they are trying to protect the moment. They are choosing distance instead of reaction. They are choosing silence instead of conflict. They are trying to keep things safe without making anyone upset. And if you respect that small turn of the head, your dog learns something very important. They learn they do not have to fight to be heard. They learn that quiet communication works with you. The fourth sign is whale eye. This is when you can see more of the white part of your dog's eye than usual. Usually their head is turned one way, but their eyes are still watching something from the side. It can look subtle, sometimes even a little funny. But depending on the situation, whale eye may be a sign that your dog feels trapped, pressured, or unsure. Maybe they have a toy and someone is reaching for it. Maybe a child is leaning over them while they are lying down. Maybe they are being hugged, but their body has gone stiff. Maybe they are trying not to move, even though everything in them wants more space. Whale eye by itself does not tell the whole story. You always have to look at the rest of the body. Is their mouth tight? Are they frozen? Are the ears pulled back? Is their body stiff? Are they trying to look away but still watching because they do not feel safe enough to fully relax? When several of those signs appear together, your dog may be telling you they are uncomfortable. And what makes this so important is that many stressed dogs still look calm to people. They are not running. They are not making noise. They are not causing a scene. But inside, they may be working very hard to hold themselves together. Stillness is not always peace. Sometimes it is a dog doing their best not to make the wrong move. The fifth sign is ears pulled back. This is another one people often read through human feelings. A dog pulls their ears back, looks up softly, lowers their head a little, and people say, "Oh, they look guilty," or "That face is so cute." And sometimes yes ears back can happen in sweet, friendly moments. If your dog's body is loose, their tail is soft, their face is relaxed, and they are moving toward you happily, it may just be part of a gentle greeting. But if the ears are pinned back with a low body, a tucked tail, a tight mouth, or eyes that keep looking away, that is different. That may be discomfort. That may be uncertainty. That may be your dog reacting to the mood in the room. This is where a lot of owners accidentally miss what their dog is really saying. We see the face and label it with human emotions: guilt, shame, drama, attitude. But dogs may not be experiencing those moments the way we imagine. In many cases, they are responding to your tone, your posture, your facial expression, or the tension that came right before. So instead of asking, do they know they did something wrong? It may be more helpful to ask, what are they reacting to right now? That question changes the whole moment because it moves you away from blaming your dog and closer to understanding them. The sixth sign is sudden stillness. This may be one of the easiest signs to miss because stillness can look like calm. Your dog suddenly stops moving. No barking. No pulling. No obvious panic. They just freeze for a moment. And many people think good. They're calm now. But a dog who becomes suddenly still is not always relaxed. Sometimes they are assessing, listening, watching, trying to decide what happens next. Should they move closer? Should they back away? Should they stay quiet? Should they protect themselves? This can happen around unfamiliar dogs, loud places, crowded rooms, tight spaces, or during handling that feels uncomfortable. A relaxed dog usually has softness to them, soft eyes, a loose mouth, natural breathing, a body that can shift and move easily. But a stressed, still dog often looks different. The body gets tight. The face becomes fixed. The weight may shift backward. The breathing may change. It is a different kind of quiet. And once you see that difference, you may never look at stillness the same way again. Because calm has softness. Stress often has edges. The seventh sign is refusing treats. This one surprises people, especially when their dog usually loves food. You offer the treat, the same treat they normally rush toward, the same treat they would hear from another room, and suddenly they do not take it, or they sniff it and turn away, or they take it in their mouth and drop it. It is easy to think they are being picky, or stubborn, or distracted. But when stress rises high enough, food can stop mattering for a while. Your dog's body may be focused on safety, not snacks. You may see this at the vet, during storms, in busy public places, around unfamiliar dogs, in the car, or during a training session that has become too hard, too fast, or too intense. A refused treat can be information. It may be your dog's quiet way of saying, "I can't focus on that right now." And that is not failure. It is feedback. Sometimes the answer is not to push harder. Sometimes the answer is to make the moment smaller. More distance, more time, a softer voice, A simpler step, a chance to breathe. Trust is not built by dragging a dog through stress and calling it progress. Very often, trust is built when your dog realizes you will notice when something is too much, and you will help them try again from a place that feels safer. The 8th sign is pacing around the room. A dog walking back and forth may look restless, bored, needy, maybe even a little annoying when you are tired and just want the house to be quiet. But pacing can be more than random movement. Sometimes it is what stress looks like when it has nowhere else to go. Your dog cannot settle. They lie down, then get up. They walk to the door, then to you, then back across the room. Their body keeps moving because their mind has not found a safe place to land. This may happen before you leave the house, when guests arrive, during arguments, during storms, when your routine changes, or when the home feels unpredictable in a way your dog cannot understand. Dogs notice patterns. They learn the rhythm of your life, the sound of your keys, the way your shoes sound when you are about to leave, the difference between your relaxed voice and your rushed voice, the feeling of a normal evening compared to one where everyone seems tense. So when that rhythm changes, your dog may feel it before you even realize you are giving off signals. What looks like wandering may actually be emotional overflow. Their paws are moving because their body has not yet received the message. You are safe. Nothing bad is happening. The 9th sign is excessive panting indoors. Panting after running is normal. Panting on a hot day is normal. Panting after play excitement or exercise makes perfect sense. But if your dog is panting indoors when they have not been active and the room is not hot, it may be worth paying attention. In some situations, panting can be connected to stress, anxiety, excitement, or overstimulation. Again, the situation matters. Is there thunder outside? Are you in the car? Are you at the vet? Are visitors in the house? Is another dog nearby? Is your dog unable to settle even though nothing physical seems to be happening? A dog panting in those moments may be showing that their body is activated. Their system is switched on. Their heart may be working harder. Their breathing may be faster. They may not be choosing to be difficult. They may simply be reacting to something that feels too intense. And this matters because many owners respond to stress behavior as if it is bad behavior. They correct the dog. They get frustrated. They say, "Stop it." But a stressed dog is not always giving you a hard time. Sometimes they are having a hard time. That one thought can change the way you speak, the way you touch, the way you train, the way you help. The 10th sign is hiding or moving away. This is one of the clearest signs, but somehow it is still one of the most ignored. Your dog leaves the room, goes under the table, moves behind the couch, lies in a corner, steps away when visitors come close, turns their body away from attention, and someone says, "Come on, don't be rude," or "They're fine," or "They just need to get used to it." But moving away can be your dog's way of choosing safety. It may be their quiet attempt to lower the pressure before it becomes too much. And when a dog chooses distance, that choice deserves respect. Because if moving away works, your dog learns that peaceful communication is enough. They learn they can ask for space without making a scene. They learn that you will not force them past their limit just because other people expect them to be friendly. But if every attempt to move away is blocked, ignored, laughed at, or followed, then eventually some dogs learn that quiet signals do not work. And when quiet signals do not work, louder ones may come next. That is why giving your dog space is not rejection. It is not spoiling them. It is not letting them win. It is respect. It tells them, "I see you. I will not force you." And for many dogs, that is where real trust begins. Ending. Noticing stress early does not make you a nervous owner. It does not mean you are overthinking every little thing. It means you are paying attention before your dog has to get louder, and that matters more than most people realize. Because your dog cannot sit beside you and explain what feels too loud, too close, too confusing, too fast, too much. They cannot say, "I need a second." They cannot say, "Please move slower." They cannot say, "I am trying to stay calm, but this is hard for me." So they say it in the only ways they have. The yawn you almost ignored. The lip lick that disappeared in a second. The head turn you thought was stubbornness. The stillness you mistook for calm. The treat they could not take. The corner they quietly walked to. And maybe love is not only found in the obvious things. The food, the walks, the toys, the warm bed, the good life you work so hard to give them. Maybe love is also found in the moment before they they have to ask louder. In the pause where you notice. In the choice to soften your voice. To give them space. To let them breathe. To say without words, I understand enough to stop. Because the better you understand your dog's quiet signals, the safer your presence becomes. And to a dog, that kind of safety can mean everything. So tonight, when your dog looks fine, look a little closer. Not with fear, not with guilt, just with attention. Because sometimes the smallest signs are the ones that tell you the most. And if this made you think of your own dog, stay with us. Because the next video may help you understand what they have been trying to say all along.